Hi Pisces, it's Jenny here with your August Tarot Horoscope. We're just going to pull a single card for the month of August as always, see what's coming up. I do have a little bit of a cold and a sore throat, so I'm probably going to keep this pretty short so I don't blow out my voice. But we're just going to see what's coming up. So the first 2/3 of August is going to be Leo season. And then towards the end of the month, we're going to be rolling into Virgo season. So that's kind of the energies that are going to be coming up. And we're just going to see what card comes out. As always, takes a long time to shuffle. See what happens. Oh, no, not that one. It hit again. There we go. That's what we're going to use. Okay, Pisces. What we have for you is Judgment reversed. So this is the way Judgment looks the right way up. So we have this sort of, it's a little bit cluttered almost. There's a lot happening here. In the background, we have a picture of what looks like Jesus and some other figures, but they're obscured by these butterflies here. We have an angel coming out of the clouds blowing a trumpet. And here we have these profiles of these faces looking all of it over. And then we have this little kind of object here at the bottom. And it came out upside down like this. So that's what we're going to go and take a look at. So Judgment is a major arcana card. It's the second last, well, it's number 20, so it's almost the last one in the major arcana. And we're going to see what we have to say, okay? Judgment. The day of judgment is today. The image on the card is a traditional depiction of the day of judgment, somewhat modified by the butterflies and the two faces in profile. An angel is sounding the trumpet, the graves are opening up, and the dead are being brought back to life. In the foreground, we see an open shell sketched in black ink, revealing its pearl. This detail represents the message of the card. Powerful forces are being set in motion. Latent energies are being awakened. Processes of change and transformation are imminent. This card challenges you to take a closer look at and come to terms with those extreme aspects of your life. Desires and fears, as well as the habit of putting the blame on yourself and others, will have to be dealt with over and over again until the mistakes of your past have been put to rights and your future path freed from old obstacles. Only then will rebirth be more than a mere repetition of the old. The story of Judgment Day is not just a religious myth. It is to be taken literally. The Day of Judgment is today. Each and every morning we are faced with the task of becoming wide awake and gathering all of our energy so that we can really bury all that is dead and gone and prepare ourselves for the birth of what is yet to come. If we can accept every single day as a gift, we will gain in confidence and be able to welcome life's challenges. Desires and fears will always exist, but we can learn to deal with them appropriately. We will become receptive to the colorful spectacle that is life, which is inviting our participation. Practical advice. Let go of what has been. Say your goodbyes and make your peace with the past. Learn to forgive without forgetting. Everything is important. You have made your choices in the past, and now you are free to choose anew and to decide which road you want to take. Okay, Pisces. Long story short on this one, this is really about not being tied down to the past and the cycles of habits and stories that we get stuck in, and being able to choose something new that is not necessarily, it's not like a rejection of the past, it's an integration, it's a culmination of, and understanding that you are who you are because of the past. So it's not something to throw aside, but it's not something you have to keep repeating and repeating and repeating all over again. So we so often have these kinds of main things or patterns we get tripped up on, or certain kind of events that we play out, or relationships that we keep kind of finding ourselves in, or people we keep finding ourselves attracted to, or problems that we keep coming up against. And the fact that we keep having these problems come to us is usually this kind of a new opportunity to make a different choice instead of repeating and seeing, well, maybe it'll work this time, maybe it'll work this time, maybe it just didn't work last time because I wasn't trying hard enough. That whole bit about blaming yourself or blaming others, we can get stuck in these same patterns thinking, I just didn't do it right the first time, I'll just work harder. Or, getting stuck by blaming others and saying, well, it was their fault, so I don't have to change. Or, victimizing ourselves of, how come this keeps happening to me? It keeps happening to me in this passive voice that leaves you no agency to make any choice in the matter. So this card is really saying, like, yes, these patterns keep coming up, but they're cycles and they're opportunities for you to take a different path, to have that day of judgment be today, and saying that from this day forward, we live a different way. We're not going to forget everything that's happened, but we're going to move forward in a new version of the future, without just getting stuck in these cycles again. So that's what the kind of main aspect of this card. This is a major arcana card, so major arcana cards are usually large sweeping energies, so they're usually involving lots more than just us, like they're collective energies, and or they may be like longer term patterns. So this isn't necessarily something you're just going to work on this month. This month may be a really good time to be putting active focus on this theme of cycles and how we can either kind of become victimized or habitual, or how we can take a bit of agency and make a different choice in our lives. When I talk about victimhood or victim complexes, I'm not in any way trying to discount the fact that very real bad things can happen to you that are out of your control. It's not that to feel that hurt and to feel like bad things have happened puts you in this victim place that's like a bad thing, and that agency to make a choice is not saying that you have total control of your life and total control of all of these things that happen to you. Agency is not about total control. It's just the fact that you have a will to power. You have the ability to make a choice in every situation. It's not that you can control the outcome, but you have agency and control of the choices that you make. So no matter how bad the situation is in, you can feel like you're not the victim, and you have agency because you. Sometimes we think that control or agency is having the control of what happens and the outcome, and then we feel like we're powerless if we can't manipulate and have what we want to happen. But it's not about being able to be assured that we're going to have the outcome that we want. It's just about being confident and not regretting the choices we make, and having agency in the choices we make. And then hopefully it's an outcome that we like. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. I'm not trying to bypass anything. That there's very real difficulties in life, but nobody ever has to be the victim, no matter what the situation they're in is, as long as they recognize they still have agency, even if it's something very, very little, and we want to help it to build that agency a little bit more. But anyway, getting got off that now. So this for this month, this beginning part of the month is Leo season. Leo season is a really great time to practice this, because Leo is all about confidence and self-assuredness, and really just feeling in the security of knowing that you're a valuable person who has something to share, and this sort of sense of healthy ego, of like, you kind of think of like little kids who like draw a crappy little picture with their crayons scribbled everywhere, and they're so ecstatic about it. Look what I made, and they want to show it to you, and it's the best thing ever. Objectively, it's not great, but they have this confidence and this light that they just want to share. They've made something, and that's that Leo energy is very innocent. It's very vibrant. It just says, I'm contributing, and I want to be seen and recognized for it. And that's a really wonderful thing that we often lose hold of. And that sort of energy and confidence, it's not really attached to the outcome of, like, I mean, obviously you can crush a kid if you say this is a terrible piece of art, but they're not expecting criticism. They're not looking to like necessarily even improve themselves at this stage. They're just expressing themselves. And if we can bring that kind of authentic expression into even how we think about making choices, where, you know, so many times we get stuck in that pattern because we're so hung up on finding the right thing to do, and we've lost the confidence to experiment and to fail. So if you're trying to find a new way to do things, a lot of the time it's not gonna, you're not gonna know what's gonna happen, and that's why we stay clear from taking a new path, because we're nervous that a new path means failure. So we end up repeating the old paths that we know have failed, to avoid risking a new thing that might fail but also might succeed. So in trying to avoid the new failure, we just repeat the old failure. Not great. So if we can bring this kind of like experimental, childlike energy into our confidence to make new choices and to get onto a new cycle of bringing a new future in, then that's something that's really going to help us, so we can land into that Leo energy for the beginning of the month here. And then when we roll into Virgo season, that's when we can start being a little bit more critical. So if a lot of the time, we can start with, like, if there's a new idea or a new piece of art or something handed to us, we immediately look at what's wrong with it, and we try to make it better right away through criticism before we ever bolster the confidence and say, this is a great idea, how wonderful that you're going to try this. And here's a few things that might make it better. If we start with that Leo confidence and energy and enthusiasm and say, what a fabulous opportunity. Then we bring in the critical side. Then we bring in the like, okay, let's like see if we can make this really practical. But that order is really, really helpful for our confidence and for the confidence of others to build up first and then critique, rather than just like jab them and just oh god, and then people don't really want to even start again because all they see is criticism. So, and personally for me, that's a really hard pattern for me. I have Mars in Virgo. I'm really, really quick to like poke at things to try to make them better, and that can be really deflating for a lot of people. So that's kind of the suggestion for this particular cycle is with the Judgment card, we've got this really great opportunity to break out of these old patterns, lay things to rest while still honoring that they happened, and then move through with new choices, starting with this big Leo confidence of, I'm going to do something new. It's going to be really challenging, but I have the confidence to try and to fail and to grow and succeed. And then at the end of the month, we can start like, fine-tuning things now that we're in motion already, instead of waiting till we've got everything sorted out before we start. Take action first, and then you can start to critique and ask for some help on that sort of thing. So that's what I'm going to leave with you for this month, Pisces. Got really great opportunities here. Just really, again, try to not get stuck in the blame game, and try to recognize the agency that you have to make a choice at every step, no matter what may have happened in the past. Okay, so that's August for you, Pisces. Best of luck, and I will see you next.